Hey guys, it's Titan coming at you with another game of Diablo 2 Resurrected. The new ladder came out, so they had this DLC, and now there's a new ladder. But anyway, very exciting times. So I'm gonna play a hardcore character, not a warlock. We're gonna play a Necro because I just want to chill, and there's nothing more chill in the whole world than playing on permadeath with a Necromancer. Nothing else compares. Hey, Neo. Hello. Welcome. So I need to figure out what we're going to call him. See, that's a problem. Because I've already used all of my normal names. What are we going to call him? Oh, no. I should have thought of this beforehand. Neo it is. Now, Neo, I do have to tell you that if this character dies, I'm sorry. But we're going to do our best. He is, after all, a new character. He's the one, you know. He'll be the one. Alright. So it is time to roll out. This is... this is actually, like, my favorite thing in the whole world, maybe. Like, it might be... I might like it more than ice cream. Walking out the gates of Act 1 normal as a hardcore character, knowing that you're probably going to die somewhere, but not knowing when, and just having a great time, and I'm just so excited to do it all over again. Let me tell you, when I say that I love summon necromancers, I mean that I could make a new one every single day, and I would not get tired of watching my little dudes follow me around, of casting my little bone armors and my curses, of my adorable little golems. Like, I could do it forever. We will do our best to make sure that you live and prosper. Of all the characters in the game, the Summon Necromancer is, in my opinion, the best equipped to handle hardcore, although the Warlock might be, but I think the Necro probably just still edges it out due to massive numbers of summons that you can eventually generate. And the principal Warlock, the principal Necromancer hex amplify damage, doubles damage, but it also removes physical immunity. Get another skeleton. The first 3 levels of raised skeleton give you a skeleton each, which is so good. And then after that, every 3 levels of it, you get another skeleton. You just pump the skeletons first. There are skeleton mages. I usually get them, even though they are very bad. I like them. Because to me, are you really a necromancer if you don't have magic skeletons doing your work for you? You know. But we're just running around. My favorite thing about hardcore is that you're not in a hurry. Lots of the time, even like, I'll catch myself doing it all the time, you know, I'll just be like, alright, let's just run in here. I'll die 50 times to Duriel. You know, we want to move forward. But if it does matter, you can just chill. You can do every single thing you see because you know what really matters is the chance of a little upgrade. And while in softcore, I will very regularly, like, not even care about items that drop at all. In hardcore, you know, it all matters. You gotta think about it. So it's just a whole different ballgame. I love hardcore. I'm not good at it, you know, but it's a fun thing. You know, because I obviously, I don't know. It's not obvious if you don't know, but I do play Minecraft hardcore as well. I would say, you know, I would consider myself more accomplished as a Minecraft hardcore player at this point, simply because I haven't beat, like, hell hardcore with every character or anything. There's some that I don't even think I've beat normal hardcore with, although I definitely could if I dedicated my time. I definitely could on normal, but that's not the point. But, I mean, it's not hard to be good at Minecraft hardcore. Anybody could do it. First, you need to learn how to play the game, though. I sort of did it at the same time. A crude cap. A low quality cap. Garbage. Hey, another level. Boom, baby. Third skeleton. But we're probably going to put a single point into bone armor, even though it's a little wasteful. Well, maybe not so early. Bone armor is really good because it's just like physical damage protection. And it's not a huge number unless you put points into it. But there are some schools of thought in the Necromancer that are like, you should get some bone spills or poison spills for a splash. I don't believe in that. I don't think it's strictly speaking correct. You get corpse explosion. Look, some Necromancers struggle with bosses until they don't. That's just how it kind of works. Because I'm not like an amazing Minecraft hardcore player. I merely have been alive for a super long time by my standards. I think for everybody, 800 days is a long time. It is. It's a long time. You know, I beat the Ender Dragon only once. You know, I guess you can make her come back. But, you know, I was happily walking around because I didn't find the Den of Evil and it didn't matter. But now, man, I am doing terrible at running it down. This happened with my first run back. But I don't mind. You know, as I say basically constantly when I'm playing Diablo, I just really like this game. It reminds me of so many of the good parts of being young. Because not every part of being young is great, you know, but playing Diablo by myself or with my friends, like, oh, just so great, you know, just running around trying to find stuff and, you know, just never knowing if the next drop was going to be just what you needed or dreamed of. This charm gives us 4 strength. We're going to put it in the inventory, right? In the stash, and then if it comes to it that we do need, you know, the strength to equip something, we'll go and grab it, you know, if we get a unique or something. In hardcore, typically, so you have to make the choice very early if you're going to get a shield or not, and if you're going to try to get a block rate with it. Normally, I would say in hardcore, you want a shield that blocks. I think what we're going to do here, though, since we can respec now, we should probably take an amplified damage point before the third skeleton. You should probably take it immediately, if I'm being honest, but I like skeletons. What you do in a situation like this, you just drag a little bit when you see a big grouping like that, because right now, you know, you don't want to be in a sketchy situation. If they turn and hit you, you know, it's a bad time. Your skeletons can still die in normal fights, but, you know, you just have a couple bodies and get there. Also, with these early packs, you got to draw them away from the shaman, and then you can go and hit them. You can't really melee shaman with a wand beyond the very beginning of the game, but it is quite effective here. We came to the Cold Plains, and we still haven't found the Den of Evil yet. Well, we're going back to do it. Den of Evil gives you a skill point. It's not optional. It is optional. It's not, though. I'm like, wait, why don't I see my skeletons? They're all dead. They're dead. But see, our helping out here with the melee, this is because our skeletons are terrible at being skeletons right now. Eventually they'll get like pretty good at it. Some necromancers are really funny in that way to me, because they totally seem like they're not really working, and then you just hit that point where you get enough mana regeneration so you can corpse explode a lot. Because really what you do as a summon necromancer is entirely different once you get some gear and can start blowing up all these bodies. but it's pleasant and slow at the beginning. You know, a real gentleman's summoner. You know, you just walk around and hit guys with your stick. Hey, Thomas, where's Lister? Oh, that's on the Warlock. We're playing Necromancer at the moment. There's a new ladder, so we would be making a new character anyway. But I actually played some not on stream, and Lister didn't die. I died. I got all the way through Nightmare without dying at all on that Warlock, and then I died in Act 1 Hell to a bunch of fire immune mobs. There's so much fire immune stuff. My Warlock build was not made for the Hell difficulty. Yep. Yeah, we got little Skelebros now. Yes, there is a place of great evil in here, but what we need is... Oh, we don't have enough money. Well, we'll sell the throwing knives. 10 life, we're keeping it in the inventory. That's awesome. So that is a 20% increase in life. 10 life at this point in the game. No slouch at all. You keep everything in the shared stash because, you know... As hardcore goes, you know, when one falls, we continue. So you keep your stuff in the stash, never in the personal stash. And then, you know, if one guy dies, then at least you still have access to all of your other things. And while in regular play, in softcore play, I quite like doing, you know, like a self-found character. In hardcore, I think that it's very much a part of it, you know, to be able to help your other characters along. Although, you know, there's many schools of thought of that as well. But to me, you know, I'm not going to try to play, like, a barbarian hardcore. But if I have full gear, then maybe that'll be fun. And then if I lose it, you know, so what? I'm not good at barbarian. I mean, I've had a high-level barbarian. I've had a high-level everything. But the thing about this game, what I'm doing now is technically careless. I just knew it was around me. You don't want to go to a menu like that. Short bow with ooh la la. Nice. Alright, so this is a very good weapon. 3 sockets is amazingly good. So one way that you can play in hardcore, and probably what we'll do depending on how the power ends up looking, is you get a 3-socket bow like the one that we've got. Gotta head out for some simulated work. Well, enjoy that. It sounds tedious, but I'm sure it's meaningful. And you have a good time, and maybe I'll see you later. Well, I'll be playing for a bit here, but, you know, maybe in the morning or tomorrow or whatever. But later, Thomas, thanks for stopping in. But you farm Countess for 3 Ral runes, which gives you they're each 5 to 30 fire damage, right? So it gives you like a very, very large fire damage spike attack that you can do, and it really gets a lot of work done. But we, you know, once we get some better stuff, this is really going to turn on. We're just going to go ahead and put it there. And of course, like, being a short bow is fine. You don't really need attack rating. Not really. Not really. It's kind of handy, but really, like, most of the stuff that we'd be shooting at, you know, like, you just shoot a few arrows and doing a bunch of damage for no mana. It's pretty important. And amp damage is 100% increased damage. It's just so good. The fact that it's a level 1 skill just tells you that it is supposed to always be a part of your world, you know. Like, there's never a time with Necromancers where you're not supposed to be using some curse to help out with what you have. And of course, the curse of the moment might depend on your target. You know, you have Decrypify, or Decrypt for short, or Crip, you know, if you're into the whole brevity thing. And that's like your boss or your very complicated enemy curse. Because it slows their movement and their attack and stuff. And if you can get a couple of stacking debuffs for that, ooh, rare armor already. You know, is it going to be good? Unlikely. However, it will be something. And we get a little sash as well. A one-socket bow is useless, but a three-socket bow could well be an avenue to power. And then, because, you know, well, the Ral rune has a required level, but a three-socket bow with, like, some rubies is also, like, a very powerful early punchy tool. However, that's not, like, really what I'm worried about as... As a Necromancer, we're just gonna go ahead and go to town real quick. You know, we just need to keep moving. And if any of this stuff is good, you want to put it on. You don't... In softcore, I'll regularly just not care about my gear. I'll be like, oh, we'll get something better eventually. You don't want to play like that when it's real. 5 mana? Good. Plus light? Why not? We're going to hold on, of course, to... Alright, so weapons of certain types, you don't necessarily want to spend the money to identify early. It's usually not a big deal, but basically, if they're not like throwable weapons, the prices of like an axe or something. Daggers now can have warlock skills on them, so that's a bad example. This Grand Charm of Blight is not good. I'm going to put it in there anyway. What if I make somebody that wants it? Anyway, we're just going to throw that in there. And we have this. Cold resist is the least important sort of resist. We're just gonna leave it in there right now and carry on. We're gonna get this Den of Evil open before too long. I'm excited. Excited to eventually make a bad decision and get spiked by some gloams or something. Real life story there, of course. No, if there's a dumb way to die in Diablo hardcore, I may not have done it because I died even earlier than that. But I've played a lot of characters. Doesn't mean I'm good. That's why I play the easiest character. No. I don't play Necromancer because he's the easiest. I play him because he's the coolest. My real love is both the Necromancer, but really like the Sorceress is my favorite class. Like that's the one that I've made the most and that I consider myself like the most experienced with or whatever. But that's like a magic find class principally. And I don't love Sorceress hardcore. I find it very against my my wishes. I really only liked Necro hardcore, although I've played other classes. I had a terrible druid run. We need to sit still and regenerate this stamina. What a mechanic. Oh, we have not distributed any of the points. That is so funny. Yeah, let me just have, 30 hit points that we don't have. Ridiculous behavior. Truly ridiculous behavior. That's a 4 defense buckler. Ooh, crude throwing knives. They are worth a lot. Hey, there we go. We found them. And then the lights come on. And we get some leather gloves. +1 to dexterity. Awesome. It isn't. Alright, first things first. We got a K, so we're gonna buy a Tomatown portal. There's nothing in the world more important. Oh, whoops, that's not how to do it. Hey, there we go. Let me get our skill. I would love to put a bone armor point in, but skeleton mastery. You just want to get 1 point in it. I mean, you gotta get 1. I don't actually know if that's correct, but I usually put 1 in it. Because what if you get like a plus to all skills thing? You know, relatively unlikely for us, but you know, what if we do? Well, we're going to be pretty foolish looking if it doesn't work at all. But it's time to go and get a rogue. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and see what can we get here that's decent. 7 all resist. Oh, that's so expensive. What we're looking for is something we can afford that would be good, like fast hit recovery, lightning resist, life. We don't find anything that's that compelling here, right? Which is to be expected. We don't have very much money. These boots, like, I would totally buy them. We just can't quite afford them. Hit recovery, very important. I think 10 probably gets you to a break point. The first one, I should know off the top of my head. I don't. But at any moment we could get, you know, plus levels to something, and that would be nice. It could happen. Because that's the thing about wands that just drop on the ground. They can be surprisingly amazing. Because the access to skills has like a role that it can be good or bad. We're going to try to get the mercenary first. She's quite useful. And of course, if you get a 3-socket bow with Rouse, you can give it to her. If you get a bow like that set up, sometimes I even keep her instead of the Act 2 Merc. Because the Act 2 Merc auras aren't that influential for a summoner. And the Nightmare ones are wonderful. Still, you know, Might, Thorns... Might more than Thorns, but you know, it's the thing about Necromancer is the summoner is built between the interaction of Corpse Explosion and your guys being the buffer for it. It's not really about them being great at killing something. It's just like they got to be good enough to do something sometimes. We're going to go ahead and identify these because we don't have any rings, so this one could be good. Six lightning resist, unironically, totally an alright charm, and we'll probably carry it with us always. Lightning resist is super important. We can't even get that effect yet. We're going to put it in there until we can get it. We have to be level 10, which is a little way away. But a surprisingly good charm. I mean, they could be better, but anything that you can equip early that makes you hardier is good. Because lightning resist, of course, not so much of an issue in Act 1. You got Recognition and the odd lightning enchant. But fundamentally, not that big of a worry. But then in Act 2, you get Scarabs, which are quite prevalent. And although as a summoner, you can prevent running into them to a large degree, you're going to have, like, the layer and stuff, which is super annoying for a summoner. I mean, you can get it done, but it is super annoying. You got to do a lot of strategic town portaling to teleport your guys to you. That orb. We're gonna sell it. That would actually be an amazing orb if you were playing Sork, right? So you could use the level 6 and then, yeah, you know, Ice Blast Orb, Firebolt. It's fine. But we're gonna sell it for money. And that'll be fine too. While I totally would consider playing a Warlock on hardcore, and very well might, I'm not really that interested in playing a Sorceress. If I got like a bunch of really good stuff, that could be fun, but you know, I don't know. I don't know how long this hardcore train's gonna be rolling. But I'm happy to cast my curses and hit Bishi Bosh here. Bishi Bosh! Speaking of Bishi Bosh, she's fallen. We're gonna go over here to level up our stuff. Which, yeah, I mean, Bone Armor, 20 points of repeatable stuff. My life's been saved by this ability more times than it hasn't been. It lasts until you lose it, which is super good as well. And you know, it's good for a lot of reasons. So it blocks physical damage, but not elemental damage. So that's actually too. So you don't get the damage spikes. You know, it splits it up if you're getting shot by arrows, and then also, you know, you're in some fire or something. At least you get a little bit of a buffer there. Our throwing knife promising. We're level 5 now, which is so good. Level 6 is the best level because you get Golem, and Golem is amazing. The Clay Golem is the first Golem you get, and for my money, he's the best Golem. Whenever I was young and played the game, and I was, you had the booklet, and I'm looking at the abilities, and I'm like, oh, Fire Golem, that's going to be my jam, dude. Whenever I get that Fire Golem, it's going to be over for these fools. But turned out Blood Golem, very rarely. They used to have this funny interaction, but it's not there anymore with Maiden and the Blood Golem. But Clay Golem is super good. Clay Golem's hit slows the enemy as well, and that's like the Decrypify tie-in, but how you usually kill Duriel with the Necromancer is you bring in all your guys, you throw an Iron Maiden on them, and then you keep summoning the Clay Golem while you're on the other side of the room. And then if you ever notice them looking at you, you run away and get a whole bunch of dudes again. Duriel could still kill you, but you know, it's all about being prepared for the death of the Duriel. And right there, all of these are good examples of how my life would be better if I just threw some stuff in that bow and used it. No, that's a short-term solution to your problems. Hey, another 3-socket bow, most excellent. Now we'll be able to give this to the rogue when we grab them. We're gonna buy some stamina potions, okay. Nice. Very nice. Fast hit recovery charm means that's going to be in our inventory basically forever. We're going to be inventory limited on this character. That's just how hardcore is. When you get charms that increase your survivability, you keep them. And 12 fast hit recovery is the difference between life and death on a pretty surprising array of occasions. A couple of those, and then all of a sudden, you're in business. We're just going to hold on to our gold, I think, because we're going to need it. Whoops. The counter already starts. Duration stacks on the potions, so... which I had totally forgotten until somebody brought it up to me. Like, I just love when I start a new character and drink the 10 potions. I'm like, oh, right. That is so much better than just waiting. Alright. Too many empty graves, indeed. The thing about Bloodraven is she can be, like, very frustrating in this fight. Because she resurrects guys. And the range damage. She's a real lady, right? However... Because she'll keep summoning them. It's not like you can just... But right now, she hasn't hit us. We're getting some hits in, which is making it hard for her to swing in there and just barely tap the armor. We're going to go ahead and get her. And we've got her now, you know. She doesn't know yet, but we totally have her now. Because while she can summon some dudes every now and then, we're going to lay the beat down, and there's a nice, clean, elegant Bloodraven kill where we get stuck on tombstones, but it doesn't matter. Beautiful. And we have Eliza, who has Fire Arrow. Normally, I try to get, like, an Ice Arrow one. However, since we want corpses, I often just go with the Fire Arrow Merc. Although having them slowed is often better anyway, even though you lose out a little bit. But a chipped Sapphire into a bow, and that'll be all that she needs to get her target slowed down. And all that she needs to... shatter corpses, I think, but it'll be okay. In general, you can afford a corpse or two not being there. Damage reduced by 1. Yes, please. And now we're just chilling. We're just gonna be running around, getting in the graves. I feel like javelins are like the throwing weapons that aren't worth a lot typically, because they're like the Amazon ones, and the other ones are the barb ones, or barb associated. The way that item values work in this game is a matter of some consternation to me, but things don't have to make sense, and that's good. It's good that they don't. Bonebreaker, oh no. Extra strong, magic resistant. He's not arrow resistant though. He'll be gone in no time. This chest, which has never been good in the history of ever. Not normal, but hey, it could be. We need the armor because the Merc needs armor. You know, max stamina feels better than +1 strength, right? we'll be upgrading the slots before too much. You know, short bow of frost, technically a thing. Five poison resist, marvelous. 1 to max damage, technically a quality. And rejuves on 4 to keep us alive. Oh yeah, we were supposed to put the armor on her. Well, you know, any armor would be better than literally no armor, huh? And yet we've elected to go with the literally no armor. Hey, Anosa, how's it going? Yeah, it's been a little while. I hope you've been well. A jewel? What'll it be? Sometimes they're very good indeed. Even early on. But often, they're like +2 to minimum damage. Which we could call a jewel. We get a level. Very exciting. Oh, and a skill shrine. So we just need to get to a safe point here so I can hit a menu. Because we are about to get my favorite little dude. Flesh Eye the Quick. Let us hit him with skeletons. Glorious. Alright. Because now... Golem! And the clay golem is great. They're quite tanky for when you first get them. And the thing is that if you just like keep summoning them on someone, they'll keep on killing the golem. And if you, you could probably leverage that. Love the golem. He runs around like that member of the Fantastic Four. The noun, whatever he's called. Oh, you don't need to apologize, man. I mean, life, it takes us different places, and, there's different amounts of time you spend with things. Just the way of things. Certainly don't need to feel like you should apologize or anything. I'm just doing my thing, and I know everybody else is too. I played some cool games, though. I played Expedition 33, and it was amazing. I was just really, really impressed by it. I mean, I know it was the hotness in one game of the year and everything, and I was late to the party, but I agree that it was good, I agree with everybody else. I'm just the same as everyone. I played this game, Nine Souls. That was really good, too. Two-socket cap. Hey, and you say you remember playing a lot of Necromancer and Diablo 4 and Corpse Explosion being a main part of it. Yes, absolutely, it is the same. And we get Corpse Explosion. Oh, I forgot to face first level in Teeth. That's right. But anyway, we'll get it in 2 levels, and then things will change up a lot. Of course, like at the very beginning, it's still super amazing, but you lack the mana to be able to do it. But Corpse Explosion is the principal way that summoners do damage. And even like Bone Necromancers and stuff, depending on what they have going on, Corpse Explosion might be the optimal play. Yeah, I remember playing Necro in D3 and being like underwhelmed with it, but I liked a lot of stuff in D3. I just felt Necro was just a bit too glass cannony. But like, to me, like Witch Doctor kind of did what I would be looking for in a Necro, only, with different spice there. But I don't know. There were a lot of, oh no, we're in trouble. We're frozen. This is so bad. All right, we're okay. The rogue is here and she's all right. That freeze was very significant. It felt worse than a normal freeze. So you're really late on these types of games because you used to before couldn't afford a computer. Yeah, my family, we like basically always had a computer. We didn't have like a ton of money or anything, but that was a thing that we had. My like our very earliest machines, like my dad, like did like some like heating and air work, I think, and then like got it, but like because we had like an MS DOS computer whenever I was like like a toddler, a young child, and I remember messing around on it and being annoyed because like I knew words but I didn't know how to spell, So I would I'd like fail at Jeopardy. That would really annoy me because I was like, you know, I was smarter than the computer was saying. I was like, no, I know the right answer. Bye, Nosa. It's good to see you. And yeah, D2 is one of my favorite games in the whole world. It's not for everybody, but this update actually does a lot of things to make it much more playable and more modern feeling, while still being, itself. But the best of them, which I'm only now beginning to understand in the last couple of days of play, is that they have this mechanic now called torment zones, and I think it's what it was, torment, terror, one of those T words, but it basically brings the level up to your level plus an amount, or up to like a certain amount there. So rather than having to run Bale like 50 times to level up, you can just run wherever the terror zone is at, which keeps the game from getting, stale. Because that's, to me, that's the single worst thing about Diablo 2, right? Is that if you want to level up well or get good items, you sort of have to just go to a few places, and that's boring. It's fine for a while, but it's boring. And now they're making it where, like, when the Countess is on the terror thing, you can get, like, high runes out of her, I think, which might upset the purists. But I think everyone will be happier, if we all get to feast. But when it's like when Diablo 2 came out, I don't think our computer could run it, and then when the expansion came out, we could. I think is how it went. They came out like pretty close to each other. In my head, like this game came out in 98, but I think it was like 2000 and 2001 is when it came out, and like D1 was 1997. Which I didn't own Diablo 1, although my friend did, and I played it there. I did have the Diablo 1 demo, and I played it a lot. It was a pretty good demo. You could play a whole bunch of it. Man, sometimes back in the day, there would be a demo disc that would just be the most amazing thing, that would give you a ton of gameplay, and I look back fondly on those days. There was this Dreamcast demo disc where it was like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 was on it, right? And they gave you access to like the best tournament map, right? And like your full 2 minutes of it. So there is basically no reason to do anything but that. I mean, sure, there's story elements and leveling up your stuff and, blah, blah, blah. All the great things about Tony. But for just, like, playing the game, you got 2 minutes on basically the best track in the game, a full run, and you could do it over and over and over again. And then there was one for, like, Skies of Arcadia that was really special. My favorite demos were the ones where you could just, like, level up a whole ton, where it'd be like you can't go past this area, but you could do anything you want up until then, and then just sort of seeing how far you could take it. Because you could get you get a demo disc for $4 with the magazine at the store, so good times. Yeah, because we had an NES, but I'm pretty sure my uncle gave that to us. And then the Super Nintendo, I don't know the story of it. It's possible that he did that as well. And then I saved up for the N64, and my parents went halvesies with it on me. I would have been, young, not like 15, like 12, 10 or 11, yeah, right in there. But And then I bought a Dreamcast later on. That was my next system, which I was, super pumped for. This my best friend was like a Sega guy, and we hadn't had any of them, and then like he really convinced me that the Dreamcast would be great, and he was right. He wasn't wrong. It was Sega that was wrong. It was Sega that betrayed me and broke my heart. You know, there's no way around it. It's their fault. No, I'm not still bitter or anything. Look how they massacred my boy. No, there's a Simpsons meme. I haven't really watched the show, but I've seen a whole lot of the memes of like, there's a character in a hospital bed and someone's holding their hand. It's like, oh, goodbye, the world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. And in the meme, it's the Dreamcast. But like, you could play Crazy Taxi on it, like, I love Crazy Taxi. There's this arcade, not like where I live, but not incredibly far away from it, where with a bunch of retro games, and they have a Crazy Taxi arcade board, but it's like, it's just so loud in there. Oh my god, it's so loud in there. Even if it was just one game, it would be like unbearably loud, but it's like, I guess it's nice that you can't really hear the people over the cacophony of the arcade machines, but it like just hurts. I can't stand there for too long, which stinks because it's like a pay by the session type of thing, like. Hey, corpse explosion. We're gonna toss it though. Summon's more important. Like, you just pay to get in, and then you can play whatever you want, is what I mean. Six to life, Jewel. That's worse than a chipped ruby. But it's better than literally nothing. Look, we're just going to throw them in there. Look, what are we going to do? We're going to hold on to those jewels later? No. But at least, when you get bone armor, you can get bone wall. Some people believe in getting bone wall. You can do it and it's not bad. The great thing about bone armor synergy is the bone wall synergy is actually better than taking the points. So you keep the low mana cost, which doesn't matter over much, but depending on the context, it can be pretty influential. Because if you have really good fast cast and you're just sitting here and you have like good mana regen, you can just like keep on hitting your armor, and depending on how your recoil works, that could be a totally viable strategy for dealing with problems like Possessed Hungry Dead. Possessed Hungry Dead in your area? Try a curse! Andy's pretty annoying to deal with as a Necro, but you can just sort of overlevel it and get a bunch of guys. Really, it's just a matter of getting in and out. Because, you're going to notice her crumble all your guys down, but then you can just leave and go and, like, somewhere else in the act and get a bunch of skeletons. And that's, that's what the Necromancer life is all about. Like, oh, the boss killed all my guys? Well, let's just get some more. And here, we just take absolutely pure vitality, like, for a while. And then we'll think about strength here soonish. We need to get to, like, 40. I mean, something like 55 or 60 would be much more ideal, but we should certainly get to, like, 40, because there's going to be a lot of gear here that drops in Act 2 and stuff that we're going to want to be able to wear. But my general opinion for a fresh hardcore character is that every single point ought to go into vitality for a bit, and then once you get your feet under you, you can figure out the very small amounts of stats you could ever spare anywhere else. And we very well might respec for max block eventually, depending on what we get. But here we get, well, you know, the poison length reduction is actually kind of okay. It's not that good. If we get it for, like, the mercenary, and Dariel's poison is so powerful that I don't think stuff like that really makes a difference. But if we give, like, you can give the mercenary potions of poison and vulnerability and stuff. You know, there's ways to do things, but it's time for us to go through the secret tunnel. Secret tunnel, underground passage through the mountain. Or whatever the words are. Underground passage. You know, it doesn't have the same ring to it, does it? Boom, baby, there's another level, and charges a pally shield. They're usually not worth very much money. At this point, making a little bit of money, it's still not, like, irrelevant, because we can go to town and buy something that's better than what we're wearing right now. And in fact, that's just what we should do. I'm going to pretend like we know what we're doing. We're going to go do that right now. Just going to blow that guy's mind. I'm gonna bring up this YouTube comment forever. It's really funny. Basically, they saw how bad my items were, and they said I was bad. They weren't going to watch me play anymore, and I'm like, alright, you know, fair. The thing with wands is, if they have a bunch of skills on them, they're often a little tricky. Like, say there, 48,000. A little steep, right? We get Corpse Explosion, which... and then we'll put the auto attack on click A, I guess, because you don't want it to be on the trigger, because you might... My ideal of a trigger skill is not one that you want to click all the time, you know. That motion doesn't feel good on my fingers. I gotta... The bumper one is a lot better, but I've straight broken a whole controller teleporting. Not like from too aggressiveness, just, you know, when you use one of the bumpers for teleporting, that button's gonna break eventually, I'm telling you right now. We're gonna buy items. Let's go talk to Charcy, or actually, we're gonna talk to Geed and see if we can roll a belt already. Come on, buddy. Not one of those belts. That's a light belt and a sash. That's... Oh, that's trade. We want gamble, or gomble, depending on where you're from. Because we're looking for a belt. It'll have like 2 straps, 2 buckles. It'll have more space in it. And I'm pretty sure we're a high enough level to generate one here. But if we don't see one in a bit, then we'll give up on it. But I think it should work. And the gambled things, it's a rare item, so, you know, you could be like, okay, I want to take a chance. You know, I want some boots, so you could just go here and then try to get it. And then you might get, you know, or it's a magic item and it could be rare. So, like, boots are a thing that I often do gamble on. You know, that one's bad, but, you know, you can get a good, like, run walk pretty early or pretty high resists. Alright, maybe we can't get a good belt here. Too bad. Gambling is relevant to your character level, not like where you're at in the game. So, always get that. Alright, so hit recovery boots. They're better than that, probably. Alright, well, I was gonna put something on. We're just gonna do some strength here. We're bound to get something decent soon, and if we don't have like 30, then nothing we find is gonna be wearable. And that'll make me a sad panda. But typically, you want like 45 or 50 because there's plenty of like breastplate level stuff in the game, serpent skin armor. You know, like you gotta have a little bit of strength, but you don't want to take it immediately. You gotta get it. Oh, I've started exploding corpses instead of trying to punch them. You know, it works. But it absolutely destroys your mana pool. But lots of times, you know, it's just a situational thing. You know, are you gonna corpse explode? It depends. You know, if there's 2 or 3 guys around, no. But if there's like a big old clump, then yeah, that's obviously right where you want to be. We rolled Misshapen and Vile Hunters. I think you can get archers in this cave, but I don't think we got archers in this cave. But maybe you can't. Nice, yeah. Because a nice corpse explosion there. I mean, that took almost all the hit points out of that big guy. The thing is until you can make like a meditation or a pole arm, you will always be mana starved. Well, that's not true. You could get frosties pretty early if you're lucky. That's the other thing. Like, what if we find frostburns? We have to be able to wear them. 60 is like almost always what I go for eventually for a caster, although a little bit higher is appropriate occasionally. But you can definitely wait on it, and now with our 4 strength grand charm as well. Look, it's like hey, an amulet. We don't have one of those. Now, the problem with Corpse Explosion being the loot button is sometimes you just blow up corpses when you're trying to loot. It's not that big of a problem, though. It can just cost you some mana. But you can just get more mana. The world overflows with it. In keeping with the theme of actually getting your stuff, we're going to go ahead and get an amulet on. Dexterity. Wow, this is worthless. But hey, it's better than no amulet at all. Do-do-do-do. one of my good friends that I played like so much Diablo with once upon a time, he always thought that this character was boring. Like he thought that the summon corpse explosion necromancer was the most boring thing, and I'm just like, this is like totally stirring to my soul, right? Like the summon necromancer is the finest level of action RPG gameplay. Running away and, you know, like debuffing your enemies and seeing your mindless but sort of occasionally mindful minions like lay waste to your foe, like that is absolutely what it's all about. And anyway, he played Barbarian. Not that there's anything wrong with that. World needs barbarians too. Soul Slime the Dark. We got an ethereal quilted armor there, which will be wonderful. We'll be able to give that to the old mercenary if it's good. Well, it's not, but it's better than nothing. So she'll put it to good use. It is just so much better than nothing. Literally better than nothing. And of course, we're looking for a passage out to the Dark Woods, which is found on level 1, not on level 2. Level 2 is where you find a chest with bad things in it. No, look, magic items aren't bad, they just aren't cool, you know. And the pure exhilaration of seeing like the orangey color of a unique before you even read what it is. It's just like seeing a rune or hearing the little ch of a rune drop, you know, like, because you see in the air, you can see a stamina potion. It looks like a rune, but when it falls and you hear ch, and then you get to like excitedly, you know, hit your show loot button, or on, you know, controller, it'll just show you. You get to figure out if you're happy or not with it. Sometimes you are, and sometimes it's an L rune. Or worse, a foul. No, foul's not bad. I just had a bunch of them drop the other day on my warlock, like 2. I'm like, it couldn't have been something else. I don't need this for anything. I was like, I could hear them. What I'm doing here around the wall, this is careless, but it's not that careless. I'll get away with it, alright. We do need to move there to be able to get to Cripify at level 24. That's kind of far away, though. We can take that at level 22, 23, and then 24 we'll take to Crip. And that way we can continue on with our real calling in life, skeletons. will say on controller it will often corpse explode like stuff that you don't expect it to, but the superior gameplay experience, you know, it keeps me on it. Maybe there's some way to play on keyboard that isn't bad and I just don't know it, but I just don't know it. Treehead Woodfist. They split off most of his guys, which is pretty good because he's a big old heavy hitter, and his guys are extra strong and extra fast too. As you know, that's what happens when you have a crew in this game. You know, they all resemble each other, but. Explode a couple corpses. And grab it. Did that dude only spawn 2 single minions? That is so weird. Well, we're gonna have Tristram to do right after this, but we are not leaving all of these carvers here. We are lighting them up. Lighting them up. Get 1 kill. Let's start the chain. Boom, 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 boom. I love this character. It's just... I'm like, it's just like a fire mage. You just need a body to cast Meteor. It's exactly the same. Whoops. Soon we'll get Kane, but we're getting the fast travel point there before we pop in over in that direction. Three to life. Well, now we have to use it. Explosions. We're already so mighty. Alright, well, going forward is theoretically not bad. We have to get this waypoint. I mean, we don't have to. We could get that waypoint, and then you don't need this one, but we're not trying to not have a waypoint in the list. That's so annoying to not have a waypoint in the list. Ooh, head? These can have skills, and that one does. We get a level of raised skeleton. We get a level of amp damage. Good stuff. Oh, we need one more skelly, I think, to get the fourth one. Mana Recharge Shrine, my beloved. It's not as good as a meditation aura from an insight or whatever, but meditation is just so good once you get it on. You're like, hey, wait, am I just having infinite mana? And they're like, oh yeah, you don't need potions anymore. Not for that. This shouldn't be to a new zone. This should just be a different half of the Black Marsh, yeah. As far as I know, you can't make a supposition about where the position of the tower or the waypoint will be based on that bridge, but that to me, in proximity and on the road, is like the bridge that doesn't lead to a new zone. You just sort of gotta get a feel for it. It doesn't matter, it'll tell you if it's to Mo Highlands, but it just didn't feel far enough away, and it wasn't. This is Tabo Highland. I don't even know if it can be a bridge to Tabo Highland. It might be able to be. It certainly wouldn't be that close to the entrance, though. Although it could be. You just develop a feel for it, especially when it doesn't matter and the stakes are low. I wish the game would remember that I want mana potions in that slot and stop trying to put health ones there. But I guess I should be pleased that they're automatically populating the slot at all, because man oh man, is that ever new. Oh yeah, you can't curse the nest. Hey, waypoint. Rakanushi's already popped. We're going to go in here with the skill shrine. One day I want them to all just go in a ring. I don't know if it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow. Hey, what a cool little effect. Now entering Proud Tristram. Griswold getting shot up on the approach, just getting absolutely murked. These archers in the back are bad news. We're just going to run over this way. Pop. Pop. Boom, baby. Karate explosions. Karate explosions. Give me those boots. Our skill shrine is active at the moment. That's why it looks like we have +2 to all skills. We don't. Alright, 30 strength is a nice place to be at right now, knowing that we can get 4 more from a charm in the event that it becomes important, and then we'll take some more points later. Garbage. Because, 60 is what you need for a plated belt. which is important because that's like your first 4-slot belt. But because it automatically populates potions from the inventory, it's not as mandatory as I was consider it like in the old times. But alright, we're just gonna pop, pop, pop goes the bodies. I'm out of potions already. It's very, very mana intensive. And the thing is, too, is because I'm not, like, aiming any kind of way, it's not like it's efficient. But we do get a lot of experience. That is the efficiency thing. Deckard Cain. If you value your life, leave here immediately. See, that is an appropriate thing to say, not go to the rogue encampment at once. The Warlock has no RESPECT. I kind of want to buy the fast hit recovery one, but right now, if we leveled up enough for it. Just want a better belt, okay? Yeah, there we go. Belt. +1 to strength. Belt. Gotta have 25 for belt. And now 50% more potions. Belt space is the only thing I truly love. It's not true. I also love skeletons and clay golem. Lamp. My wonderful Skelly Bros. But, well, it's midnight 15 now. Well, I'm still gonna play a bit longer. We're gonna go crack the Countess. We're gonna walk through this fiery pentagram, and we're gonna come out clean on the other side. I have run Countess so many times. So, like, whenever I do that move there, where I sort of, like, say, I wonder which way it is, it's based on, like, a long life of superstitions. But I am telling you that if you just randomly choose a direction to get here, you won't get here as well as I just got here. It's not always turning left. Unless it is. Oh god, is it always just turning left? Is my life a lie? No, I think it. But when you look at the mini map, you can tell. You can tell if you think Countess will be that way. There's ways that the walls are, and like that columns are, the way that there's turnings, and it doesn't always work. I'm not always right, but But I've done a lot of Countess runs. I've done a lot of like Mephisto and Andariel runs. Like I've got like a good set of superstitions that leads us to victory in those places. We're gonna back up here. What the Countess does is put a firewall up at the entrance to the room where we would have to either cross through or fight, which with summons it's a bit of a mess. But if you go here, you can get her people a little bit out of it, and then like right now, my whole skeleton crew like walked into the fire and immediately melted for no reason, mind you, for no stinking reason. Just because they wanted to stand in it. But now we're alright. Huzzah! Destroy her! Hey, look at that. We get a Tal, a Neph, and an Ith. Now, is that good? I mean, Tal's fine. We need Tal runes for, like, we need several of them for rune words. So to get it is fine. Rao would have been better, but, you know, hey. 3 runes is actually pretty sweet. I think she drops more runes the first time you kill her, but I can't prove it. I can't prove anything. I wasn't paying attention that day in geometry. And I'm pretty sure that those runes go to other characters. If it turns out not to be true, then, well, that'll be a learning experience, won't it? Oh boy. Whoops. You know, trying to pick up just the potion you want is really a job for the controller. I lied. For the mouse. Alright, there we go. Popping all these fools. There's, of course, as we know, no waypoint in the Highland. You get that at the cloister. And the cloister is always to the up. Always to the upside in the Highlands, because the wall has to generate above you. In fast cast, I mean, totally okay at this point. It's certainly better than a dex, which we don't care about at all. Level 12 next turn, where we get Golem Mastery, and then also Iron Maiden, which we don't have to get like immediately. Maiden's not that important. It's incredibly important, but you don't have to have it right away. You just have to have it before you need it. They just straight busted through the door there. We'll be alright. Oh no. Since when do they open the doors? Ain't no fun when the rabbit's got the gun. Got champs already toasted. Run through these fools. Biofist the Dead. Well, we'll put that name to the test. There we go. Small charm, good, good. Got champs. But they are dealt with. I'm just gonna go ID this charm real quick. You know, it could be anything. Run, walk, FHR, life. We'd feel real silly if it was life and we hadn't ID'd it. 1 to 2 fire damage? Eh, you know. technically a thing. Do we put it in the box? For what reason would we ever put it in the box? Nah. Wells are super amazing as summoners because they heal status ailments and like HP and resources of all of your summons in addition to yourself. So there's definitely been a time or two where a well-placed well has turned a weird engagement into one that was totally fine. Champ shamans can be incredibly annoying because, of course, you know, they're shamans, which are already pretty annoying for a summoner, given that I mean, the warlock has a way to teleport the guy to him, you know, but we don't have that luxury here. We have to rely on them to use their own mind of their own to do what we want them to. I just figured we'd open all the doors and see what happened. It's fine. I think this is a dead end. It is indeed a dead end. Unfortunately, because it's procedurally generated, dead ends often don't have any rewards in them like they would if it was a regular game. A non-procedurally generated game. Although, as people have pointed out before, everything in a game is generated by a procedure. But of course, that is not exactly what they mean. Like, where is it? Okay, there we are. Yes. It's not just a hammer. This is Charcy's hammer. My girl. She wants her hammer back. And she shall have it. One point in Golem Mastery. You never spend more than that, or at least I don't, but... Fast hit recoveries are attractive, but I'm not losing a point in raised skeleton and amp damage for it. Need more stuff to socket into things, right? Alright, well, that's okay. Maybe old Geed has a thing. It'll be alright. Need more scrolls in the town portal machine. Now it's time to go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Grab a fulminating potion, I guess? Sure.
The slow torture of caged starvation.
Necro proving once again that he's a huge weirdo whenever he sees stuff. Like, who would describe it that way? With ah at the beginning of it. I guess a Necromancer, I mean, fair. I need to go to bed. But you see me not doing it, don't you? Possessed is a mod that gives them very high physical resist and like a spectral cold hit. It's a pretty rough one to see in champs, but you know, we make it work. Just a real nasty little champion pack there. We're just gonna run this way and maybe we will find what we seek. Sometimes you just go the correct way. Pit spawn foul dog. He's cold enchanted and cursed, a very dangerous combo. Cold enchanted you can't be too close to when they die or they pop in a frost nova, super annoying. Sometimes you, even when you know it's a dead end like I knew there, you scout up on the wall a little bit and then sometimes you can see, you know, the stairway lead down or more information that might let you figure out if it's a good place to go or not. See, this room, I like the shape of it. It says to me we'll get that little maze exit here. But I've been wrong before. I'm wrong again. There we go. Or definitely see them get to the point where, you know, they go through the whole bone armor in a hit or two. But of course, this is the Dark Ones. That's as punchy as they get here in Act 1 for those dudes. So right now they don't have a shaman yet, but then later on, you know, we'll see the shamans get added in. Another strength charm, we'll definitely put it in the stash. Now we can get 7 strength through charms, and that's a nice little cushion. You know, keeps you able to think about, okay, maybe I can just take the vitality points, and then, you know, we'll just have a smaller inventory for a couple of levels if we end up needing to move it over. You gotta save your respecs, you know, you don't want to just throw them around.
I can't use this yet.
Boom. 60% of the time it works. Every time. Alright. Well, there's Cloister, and that is a good stopping point. And when we return next, we will either kill Andariel or have to start another character, one or the other. Who knows which? Not me. Not me. But, alright, well, good deal. There's our level 12 Necromancer. Alright, there we go. There we go. Yeah, I had just a great time. I can always start a Necromancer and have a good time. Something about, like, being much more reactive and position based, and like where your aggression comes from just not getting struck and trying to like maintain that. I just love the Necromancer style. I don't want to go up and hit him. I want to run away, and that provides it provides it with that. But all right, that's all I've got for you right now. I am gonna get on with my day, which means go to sleep. But we'll be back. We will probably tomorrow. We'll probably play a little hardcore tomorrow. I've really got the itch, but I've got some other plates up in the air. I'm in the, you know, we're trying to get a little bit more in Silksong before we give up on it, and I've got this this Warhammer campaign that's pretty interesting at the moment. Total Warhammer, that is to say. Or rather, I'm about to lose an army against a pretty big dinosaur stack, and that's going to be fun. But anyway, that's all I've got for you right now. Thank you guys, and maybe I'll see you in another stream or video. Good night, Neo. Good night, Thomas. Good night, anyone else who might be watching out there. Good night, Inosa. Peace.